with some lemonade all week long and talk while the task people work. Mary and Martha. Remember the story? Jesus shows up at Mary and Martha and Lazarus' house, and Martha's in the kitchen. She's busily at work. She's making a great Thanksgiving meal. Mary's in the living room sitting with Jesus and the other disciples listening to Jesus. Martha's a task person. Mary is a people person. Remember what happens? Martha gets mad at Mary, because Mary doesn't have the same gifts and same personal style as what Martha does. I bring this up for us to realize that we all have different styles. I didn't ask Kim if it was okay that I shared this, but I said maybe. Well, we talked about it this past week. Kim's style is more task. Correct? My admin. She's secretary. Her style is much more task. Monday morning, we both get here. I get in, she gets in. I go into her office with some hot chocolate or tea. I want to sit down. How'd your weekend go? What'd you and Mike do this week? What'd you and the girls do this week? You know? How's Kristen doing in volleyball? Blah, 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 blah. She's looking at me going, do you see my desk? Do you see all this work that you gave me to do? I got to get all this work done by 12 o'clock today. It's like, no, you don't. But you see how we work differently? But it's been awesome over the last 6 years. I'm learning to give her space. Maybe. Am I? A little? I'm trying to learn to give her space, but she's also on Monday morning now saying, okay, let's talk for 10 or 15 minutes. We'll do the people stuff, and then you can get out of the office. Do you see the difference? What is your personal style? Are you task-orientated or are you people-orientated? And the reality is, we can be different things in different areas of our life. I tend to, at the Guard, be more task-orientated because I'm the wing chaplain, the boss of the office. And so I tend to be more task, what has to be done next. So in different areas of our life, we can walk in a different aspect. But what really motivates you? What gets you going? What energizes you? Then, how are you organized? Are you structured? Or do you have variety? Do you call AAA to get all the trip ticks before you go on a trip because you want to have it all set? Do you plan your whole 2 weeks out? Or do you say, hey, we're just taking a 2-week vacation and we're just not really totally for sure where we're going? Let's find out where we're going. You know, there's the two ways that we can have that. We can have the structure, we can have the variety. Or there's a lot of us that maybe end up in the middle, and I like to just call it, we live in organized chaos. A lot of you have probably said that before. We are organized, and we know what's going on, but it may look like it's chaos with a lot of variety. So how are you organized? Do you fall down more on the structure? Do you fall more down on the variety? Or do you fall in the middle with that organized chaos? Then the reality is, what breaks your heart? Frequently, not always, but frequently, a person's passion and oftentimes their spiritual gifts can follow for what breaks their hearts. What do I mean with that? A lot of people wonder sometimes why so many counselors, if you go to a counselor, and I totally believe in counselors, therapists, but a lot of people wonder why so many of them at times have gone through divorce, or gone through struggles in their life, or struggles within their childhood. Well, those struggles that they went through propelled them into doing what they're called to do. I shared last week that for me, getting up public speaking, and though I've done it now for 30 years, it's still scary to me. When I was a little kid, I stuttered very bad. I still find myself stuttering sometimes. This last week, I had to go through and find some papers in the basement through some old files. As I was going through them, I found one that was when I was a little kid. My older sister did a report on me, and I was 5 or 6, and she talked about the fact that Greg has a lot of friends, and he's very committed to his friends, and he's fun to play with, but he's shy and he won't talk in public, and he stutters. Thought, whoa, I just talked about that last Sunday, and here I read it again. What I'm doing up here, it's not who I am. Not at all. It's spiritual gift, I believe. But why is it a spiritual gift? Because when I was a kid, what broke my heart was when we would travel, and my mom and dad would often talk about the fact of all the people we would pass, all the homes we would see in our travels around the state, the nation, and they'd say, I wonder if they're a Christian. I wonder if they're going to heaven. And that was said to me a lot. My passion as a kid was for other people's eternal salvation, eternal walk with the Lord. So what does God do with that? That becomes something that I'm concerned about as a child, and God says, okay, Greg, I will give you a gift in that area. Oftentimes, but not always, what breaks our heart is that area that we move into, that we become passionate about. So what is your passion? Now, if you think about it, people or causes tend to be our passion. People. Oh, pretty cool, isn't it? Sort of jumps. Okay, what's your passion? Maybe people is your passion. If the people I like to help the most are, and next week I'm going to have some handouts with these, so you're going to be able to, whoops, go back one please, Jacob. Just look at that slide. If you're a people person and your passion might be about people, think about really what type of people or situations are you really passionate about? Infants or children, youth, teen moms, single parents, college students, divorced, widowed, singles, career women, young married parents, empty nesters, elderly, hospitalized, refugees, homeless, unemployed, disabled, prisoners, or poor. And you think about in your life, okay, what am I passionate about? What is God calling me to? What do I have? Where do I feel like God's leading me? If you're a people person, and you say, hey, that's an area maybe that I want to work at. That's an area that maybe I'm really feeling God calling me to. 3 years ago, as a congregation, we started a brand new venture for us. We're still in the infancy stages with it, of having not just simply elders of the church. Elders are the men and women who have been chosen to lead the church spiritually. So we have the admin or the administrative elders, but 3 individuals stepped up and said, we believe God's given us a spiritual gift of reaching out to people in need and the hospitalization and to walk with them. We've called them the caring elders. Their heart is for other people. Their heart's for other people because God's blessed them in that respect with a gift. So you look at that, and as I say, next week we're going to have a handout for you all to sort of check off on. But the people that you want to help the most, or maybe you are a cause person. The issue or causes that I feel strongly about: abortion, addictions, AIDS, child care, church, discipleship, economics, education, evangelism, environment, healthcare, homosexuality, hunger, injustice, international students, international individuals, literacy, politics, poverty, racism, sexual abuse, violence. Some of you may feel very strong about a cause. So then the question is, you need to look as you're discovering your spiritual gift and say, you know, my spiritual gifts, my passion lie with people, and so what group of people am I really passionate about? My spiritual gift, my interest, my passions lie more with tasks or causes. So here's just a list of some causes that possibly we can get involved with. So the question is, what is your passion? People or caution? But this is interesting. It's interesting to me because, well, interesting, and the first word up there is interested. We can be interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in football. Well, maybe I'm more concerned about the next level. Interested in things because, you know, they're just things that we just talk a little bit about, whatnot. The next level is when we get concerned or get a little bit more passionate about something. We think and we talk about it, and we go once in a while. We go to Bronco football games twice a year. You know, we're sort of fans, but not huge fans, especially when they beat Central Michigan, Caitlin. Sorry, I wasn't going to say anything, but you started shaking your head. She goes to Central Michigan, and Western just sort of annihilated them yesterday, if you didn't hear.